Why, hello, dear friends. Welcome back to another episode of Blender Stuff with Lord Fish. We got a request. Queen wants us to make a treasure chest type storage container that we're going to put in game for you can store more things at once. So we're going to get started by doing our sizing. I changed that to local, or sorry, scaling. And I'm just going to scale it for Unreal. So if you're using Unity or something else, I don't know what your scaling is, but you could follow along if you need to, and don't if you don't need to, as I always say. Now this might seem like a simple task at first, but I think it's going to be a little more complex than that, because we're going to have to make it certain things make sense, like there'd be a hollow gap on the inside, things like that. So first we'll just kind of get the general size of what we're looking for. Something like that. Maybe we'll work on doing a little bit of shaping before we do anything else. I want kind of a bridge over top, but it's going to be hard to do without messing up our other side. So let's try it. Control B, and we're going to have to add some bevels. You could go with a more solid edge like that. It might look sharp. It depends on your game and what you're going for. I'm going to go like that though, and then I'm going to undo. I'm going to redo with Control B again. And somewhere around there. I think that's the general shape I want. Kind of looks like a piece of bread. Yum yum. Alright. Queen's making me laugh. That's not fair. Alright, keep going. So next, we are probably going to want to take one of these squares, and we're just going to stretch it for it's all the way through. And we're going to go all the way through this way, and then we're going to flatten it. The reason being is we're going to use it to cut our piece in half. Something like that. Then we'll move it up to where we want it to be. Figure out where you want your lid to stop and open. I think mine's going to be about there, and that's where I'm okay with it. So if you're okay with it, go ahead and grab this piece and shift grab the second piece. We're going to go to Object, Bool, Difference. And just put that little hole right through the middle, like that. Now, we're going to go to Editor and click off everything. I'm going to push L over the top piece, and we're going to push P and do selection. Excuse me. The reason we're doing that is we want them to be separate pieces for we can use them in different ways. So I clicked off everything, I clicked on it again. Just tap the lid on, and we're out of edit mode, of course, with tab. Just going to shift D to copy that piece, move it down just a little bit like that, then we're going to hit S and shrink it down just a little bit like that. Move it for the lip is just barely sticking out. You have a nice even gap that it's going to leave behind. When you're ready and you got the right shape, shift click the second piece, Object, Bool, Difference. As you can see, we have a perfectly shaped inside. So now when we flip our piece open, when we open our treasure box, it's going to look good on the inside if you want it to be able to open. I don't know if I need mine to open, but I'm just going to give you the example just in case. I think it would be pretty cool if it opened. I hope ours opens, but I don't know if it's going to. Before I get anybody in fished and too excited. Alright, so let's move that up. Push S. And we'll get it down to about there. Looking pretty good. And okay, I think we're going to go ahead with that. Maybe we'll move it down a little bit towards the bottom. Make sure your lip's sticking up above it. Click the second one with shift left click, and then we'll do the difference. And that's what the difference is, friends. We got a perfectly hollowed out chest now. Okay, something like that. Try to match this up as good as you can. Because we're going to be making a few more pieces, and the few more pieces are actually going to have to kind of go to both of them, or at least some are at least. So, Control A, and we're going to make a cube. Drag it out the back, and we'll scale it down. This will be super thin. Oops. Might have to do it 2 swipes to get it the right thinness. Something like that. Something like this. Keep on shrinking it down till it's about the right size. What we're going to make is like basically a hinge. And you can break it in half if you want to, but you don't have to. You could do it 2 halves if you want to, but you don't have to. Actually, maybe we do want to, because then it'll move with the lid. It might look better. So let's actually see if we can do that. Let's see how hard that would be. So that would actually look a lot better. Something like this for the bottom half, I guess. We'll get in a little closer so we can see it better, because this one we're going to have to make sure it looks good and it fits. So do that. We'll move it right close to the edge like this. Then we'll Shift D. And we'll pull that up. And maybe we'll make this one a bit smaller for it to make sense to fit to this a little better. Like so. We'll move it down for there's just a little tiny gap between the two of them. I think that looks pretty good. Make sure they're both connected right. Now we're going to do a circle. And it's up to you how detailed you want to get on the circle. If you want to try to hollow out the inside of it, all that stuff. Honestly, you're not going to be able to see it, so I would just make it look good, but that's completely up to you. If you want to take a little bit of extra time to put some detail in, feel free, just pause the video for you don't miss any of the other steps to finish this off. Alright, so something like this. We're going to move it down, try to even it out a bit, thin it out, thin it out. And we're just going to make it, scale it, oops, just scale it this way. And we'll do one of these. And maybe just make sure it's just the same size or just past maybe. Something like that anyways. Maybe we'll move it a hair in. This is going to be our hinge, so this will move with the top half, so we'll attach to those. Oh no, we won't attach them yet actually. We want to, but we won't. And this will be attached to the bottom half. So, and with the hinge. So then when the top opens, it should open on the hinges and look really nice. So now we have one more problem. We got to get this on the other side. So let's make these two one. So what I did is I'm going to click on this one, click on the second one, Control J, and now they are one. Then we're going to Shift D it, now that it's one. I'm just going to test, and then I'm going to right click to cancel that test. Sorry about that, I moved that by accident. And I'm going to get rid of the minus here. And it's going to put it on the other side. And then we're going to take this top piece, we're going to Shift D, right click to cancel movement, and I'm going to do the same thing. Now we have the same pieces on either side. You can shape these a little more if you want, or work on the edges, or make them thinner, do whatever you need to do. I think it looks okay for what I'm after, so I'm going to go ahead and attach them to the lid with Control J. And I will wait for these ones just in case we need to do anything else. So, now, that piece is like that. I already attached those. Okay, so let's make a new piece with Shift A. My bad. Move it on out. Shrink it on down. You can use S and scale it right down. And then we'll use our scaler to do some fine-tune adjustments. Something like this. Actually, before we do that, let's Shift E this shape. I've got an idea. So what we're going to do is the opposite of what we have here. So we're going to make it thin this way, and then we're going to make it thick this way. Okay? Just like that. We're going to go into edit mode. We're going to grab that lip, and we're going to Control B, and we're just going to make them round like that. Okay? Just like that. Alright, now what we need to do, this is a little bit complex and it might take a little bit longer, but I think it'll be worth it when the end, so let's just go with it. We're going to Shift D, and it's just going to make it look more like a real treasure chest, I feel like. And we're just going to set that in like that, and we're going to Shift D on this piece, and we're going to move it back into the middle of this piece like so. I'm going to grab the second piece with Shift left click we're going to go to Object, Bool, Difference. Now, this piece, we're going to hit S just a little bit, and now it smoothly fits through this piece, okay? I think you get where I'm going with this. If you don't, you will soon. I'm going to make this one just a tad bit thinner like that. Okay? But I think we get the idea. We're going to make a latch to lock this. So we could put a lock on this if we want, but we won't. But it'll look like it. There could be a lock on it. Alright, so what we need next is we need to put another hole. So we need a circle. So I shift A. We'll go to a cylinder. I'm going to turn it on its side by clicking 90 here. That's the wrong way. So 0, 90, my mistake. Gonna hit S, shrink it right down. We'll stretch it out, shrink it down, and let's pull that piece out now. Should be in the middle of that other piece because we kept them right perfectly centered. So maybe a little more this way, maybe a little more smaller, maybe like that, maybe a little bigger. Be hard to get just the right size. When you're ready though, we're going to shift click, left click this piece, and then we're going to Object, Bool, Difference, okay? And again, now it just looks a little bit more like the real piece we want it to look like. And you can go ahead and attach this to that, Control J, okay? Now this latch is going to be attached to the top piece, and we should be able to just slide it on. Okay, so let's go ahead and make the top piece the rest of that latch. So we're going to Control A. And I know you're probably thinking, this is just a chest. Why are we making it so complicated? Well, we want to make an authentic treasure chest. That's why. That is why. Don't think about it too much. Alright. And I think we just want it to look good. We're slowly trying to step up the quality of things in our games and our stuff like that, so it doesn't hurt to throw a little extra detail in sometimes. So I don't know exactly how I'm going to do this piece. I think what I got to do... Yeah, I know what to do now. Oh, I know what to do. Don't you guys worry. The fishy's got you. Something like this. Okay. Okay. Alright, and then we're going to Shift D it, and we're going to bring it like that, and let's get right in there. Like a proctologist, we'll get right in there. Alright, pretty good. I think that's good enough, so we're going to make this piece basically a part of that. We should have just made it a one piece, we probably still can. So maybe we can just for neatness, because it's going to be on the front, right? This piece kind of has to be in two different pieces, so, but the other piece in the front here really doesn't. We can just do it in one piece. Let's do it like that. My bad again. We'll get this fixed up. I don't plan this stuff out. We kind of just wing it, and I go with what I like and design it artistically, I would say, because if I don't do it this way, it just never turns out the way I want it to. It always turns out, I don't know, different. So hopefully you guys are okay with this style. So once we match around that size, it doesn't have to be perfect, but pretty close. We need to put our hole in it again, right? So let's just Shift D, that whole piece, and then we'll grab this front one, and hopefully, with a little luck, we'll Object, Bool, Difference. And we should be, we could do is just stretch it out just that little bit, to give it that gap now. Okay? Perfect. Looks good to me. See, there's a hole there. Perfect. And what I'd probably do is put, again, we're going to need that circle. I should have just kept it, but let's Control A. We'll make another cylinder. And then we will, which one was it? Top one, I think. Is that right? Oh, what the heck was I even? Yep, that's right. Sorry. Sorry, I know what I'm doing. Don't worry. Yeah, I totally do. Something like that. And we're just going to make a little tiny hinge up here again. And if you want to make it smaller or less noticeable, go ahead and make the changes you need to. It's more so an example of how you're going to get there. But I'm going to make mine like this, and I may shrink the whole piece after, but I'll probably do it as a whole. For that way it doesn't look too funny or anything. Something like that. And then just kind of move it in between the two of them like that. And we should pretty much have the look we're after, maybe down a bit. And it does look a little big. So maybe we could shrink it a little bit. But we're going to have to be careful a little bit too. This piece, and this piece, they all need to go up a bit like that. So that piece is on the top part. We need to get that middle piece, move it up. We can shrink that one down a little bit. Shrink that one down a little bit. Get right at the line for both of them, for it's just a little more, a little less profile there. Shrink that one down a little bit. Get that right at the line. You might have to mess around with it a bit. I won't mess around with it completely to get it all the way perfect, but you get the idea. If you need to pause it, go ahead and pause it. But I think we're pretty close to what we wanted. So I guess the most important part is going to be here now, is making sure the right pieces go to the right spot when you attach them to each other, so it looks right when you're opening it, stuff like that. But let's just have a look at this first. And let's try something. Let's grab these ones and just hit E and just drag them out a little bit like that. If we wanted, then we can give it like a cool kind of texture like that on the face. You might have to move them around a little bit. I'm not sure if I like that. But you get the idea. Little things you could do like that to kind of... But I think we'll do it a different way that'll be easier and make it look better probably. Well, what I might do some work on the bottom half though. Let's take that into edit mode. Let's grab these two faces and let's just hit I. We'll just bring it in a little bit, and then we are going to hit gonna have to do let's do I again, and just a little bit, okay? And then we're gonna go to this scalar and just bring them together just a hair like that. This is gonna give it a little edge on the inside. I think it'll give it a really good look to the chest. Don't have to do it if you don't like it. You don't have to follow along. It's not a big deal. May do the same thing over here on the front and the back. So we're just gonna hit I. Okay, but I'm gonna do this one a little bit different. We're gonna fix this edge a little bit more like that. It's a little bit more even that way. Okay. Oh, let's click on them again. I didn't mean to drop them. And then we're going to hit I again and just go in just a little bit. Then we're going to use the scalar just to drag them in a little bit like that. Perfect. And we have a really cool looking chest now. We could probably do the same things up here and just highlight one at a time or something like that and hit I. Drag them in and just do it the whole way across if we really want to. But I think this is going to be okay for the look I want. I'm going to use color tricks to do the rest of it. So let's get at edit mode and let's grab this piece. And it's a little big. Kind of feel like I should change it a bit, but yeah, let's change it. Let's fix it. It's just too big for our design now. So I'm going to have to pull up a new piece. With Control A, we'll pull up a cube. Let's shrink it down. No big deal. Sometimes you're going to have to do that when you're designing. It's just redesign something. It's not a big deal though. Alright. And then let's just make sure it's scaled right. Looks like it's a little big, so something like this. It's pretty close. If not perfect. we will go down this way. It's just going to make it look a little aesthetically correcter, and we'll copy it to their side once we're done. Okay, something like that, and it's definitely not going over the edge now, so it should look a little better. I'm going to have to pull up a circle again, unless this one's, yeah, that one's not attached. Let's pull up that one, Shift D. I'll just wheel it back, and I'll steal that piece. Get it into place in the right size. It's a little big. There we go. Looks like this is possibly a little big too. So just move it over, get it kind of more in place. It looks pretty good to me. If we wanted, we can insert some screws. I don't know if we want to for the look, but I may. I'm not really sure. We could probably make these. Oh, no. That one's already attached, so no. Okay. So we'll attach that to this, and then we'll Shift D it, and then we'll add a minus to this. And that'll put it on the same on the other side. So now we got them on both sides. Take both this, and then we'll Shift left click this piece, and we'll attach it to that. Okay. We'll take this middle piece, and we'll click the chest, and we'll attach it to that. Okay. We'll take this piece, this piece, this piece, and we'll attach them to the top. Control J. Okay, and these ones are already attached at the back, so perfect. We have our hinges. Our top should open from the bottom if we need it to. If you don't, you can go ahead and join everything together and just leave it like that, but I imagine you probably want it to open. And now when we do open it, it's hollow inside. We just need to set it for it opens on an axis in game. So I hope that helps a lot. I hope it gets you that farther into your game. Oh, you know what? One last thing we could do. Before I do, I'm not going to show you guys until you subscribe. Nope. Subscribe, thumbs up. Nope, not showing you. I'm just kidding. I would never do that. But you should subscribe and thumbs up. I'm just being funny. So you could do that over here if you want it. You just got to be careful. You see how I broke the edge there? Just be careful you don't go that far. Like that. And then we could just keep an eye on it when we drag it in. That's probably not the way to do it. Do one more eye. Just a little bit more like that. Oh, I think I broke it. Darn it. So we're going to have to go a little bit less on the first one. Like that. A little bit on the second one. Like that. Now you can go in and you haven't broken it. Perfect. Oops. Like that. Okay. Just give you a cool edge on the top. You can do it if you want. You don't have to, obviously, but just thought I'd mention that. Give it a little more texture. Now, make sure you subscribed and thumbed up, and we'll move on to coloring. I'll keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it. We need all the help we can get, guys. Got to get our videos out to the world. So we got to do them separately because each piece is separate. So we're going to do the top first, and I think I'm going to set it to a orangey kind of yellow piece, and then we're going to make it darker into a woody kind of color like that. And we're just giving it a slot, so it doesn't really matter, but it does at the same time. I just kind of like to see what I'm looking at and what I'm going to be designing. It just helps me, I guess. So I'll do plus on this one. New, we're going to make this one gray because it's going to be made out of metal. That's for all my English fans. Oh, it's made out of metal, it is. The looks I get from Queenfish sometimes. Alright. Nope, that's not a button. L over this one. L over this one will also make them silver, so make sure you're on silver. Assign it as well. Okay, I think you're getting the idea. Now, do we want to do anything a second wood color? That's a possibility. So let's do these maybe just for an example. And do plus, new, and we're just going to do a second wood color. So maybe we'll go a little bit more ruddy orange, and then we'll go a little bit more dark, like this. And just again, it's only setting a color spot, so you still have to change it in game. But at this point, maybe you want to do every second one a different color. Like that, right? You can assign them a different color and give it a completely different look. It's all up to you. Probably not going to do that one. It didn't look so good to me. So, anyways, just to show you the different options and how you can put different color schemes on the same piece, right? So I think that's all for the top. All I'm going to do anyways. You're welcome to do more if you want. So I'm going to get out of edit mode with tab, and I'm going to click the bottom and push tab to go back into edit mode. Then we're going to have our base color. It's the same as the top piece, so we can assign that. It already was, but just in case yours wasn't. Push L over this piece. We'll push L over this piece. Plus new, and we're just going to make them silver color and assign them their own slot. It's nice and easy, like that. And we're going to do the same for the back pieces. So we're going to click off everything in edit mode. Click off everything. I don't know how I got out. And we're going to push assign on those two. Alright, and now we should have the right color scheme. We're missing one piece there. Was that on the top or the bottom? Oh, it's on the bottom. So we need these as well to be silver. Try to make sure you don't miss anything like I did. We might just add some handles to the side after when we're done actually. I'm just thinking now. And again, we can add another color scheme of wood to this if we want. We don't have the same one up there, but again, we're just giving it a slot, and we can assign them the same in-game for they match. So we're just going to give it a second different wood color, for we know that's a different wood color. Okay, perfect. And again, it doesn't matter, so don't worry. Okay, one last thing I can think of that you might want on your chest now that I'm seeing it with all the colors on it and how it looks. All I can think is that maybe you might want to add a handle to it on either side. So I believe, oh darn, let's undo that. Make sure you're out of edit mode. Push tab, then shift A. And then we'll make a cube, pull it over. Okay, and then we're going to be little tricksters. Be ready to be a trickster here, guys. And we're going to grab that edge, and we're going to control B them. Oh no, why is that not working? Oh, because we're on faces. That still should have worked. Control B. And something like that. Okay. We're going to get out of there. We're going to go to our scaler. Change the shape of it a little bit to more of a handle type of a shape. We'll make it thinner like a handle. Okay. And there's a few different ways we can do this. You probably want to take that edge out. You don't have to, but you definitely can. By doing that, clicking this edge, and then doing that. Okay, so we got all the edges, top and bottom, Control B. And we can just kind of do this. And kind of give it a little bit more shape. And I think that'll be good. It looks pretty good to me. What the heck am I seeing? Did I break it? I think I broke it actually. Let's go back. Yeah, I must have went too far with it. Let's go less far than that. There we go. It's not broken there. And then I tabbed out of that and Control D. Shift D. And then we're going to make it smaller. Then we're going to make it taller. And then we're going to move it out. We should be good to go. Well, maybe not. We might have to manipulate it a little bit. Try to make your handle nice and even. Space like that. And then we will take that shape out of that shape with our bool trick. Now that looks pretty good to me. Might have to shape it a little bit more. Like that. Just kind of get the right scale, but we have the right look that we want. We'll put it on our chest where we can kind of see more what we want. Maybe we want to do it there. Let's do our scaler. I think it looks pretty good. As long as you agree and you like what you're seeing. Let's Shift D it. And then we will go over to this sucker here and we will go minus. And you can see it's the wrong way. So then we'll just do a 180. And we should be exactly in place. We'll grab both of them. And we'll attach them to the bottom piece with Control J. And then we'll go into edit mode. Click off everything. We'll push L over this handle. L over this handle. And in the coloring part, we will make sure you clicked on the bottom one. And we're just going to do them this darker color. Okay? So there we go. And maybe you want to make them a different color. Maybe you want to be handle or metal. Maybe you don't want them. Up to you. But I think we got a pretty good looking treasure chest here anyways. So thank you, mates, for coming to watch my video. And hopefully there'll be some more fun Blender videos coming out soon. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, thumbs up, and we'll see you next time.